Hello and welcome everybody. In this second lesson 2, we're going to talk about I'll continue to talk about how to create logos, 2D logos specifically. So this is a logo I've created before, and I'm just going to show you the step by step of how I was able to come up with this logo. I believe in the previous class you should have learned or we talked about how to edit logo templates. So now I'm going to show you how to create a logo from scratch. All right, so I'm just going to create a blank page, a new page. I'm going to add page now with white background canvas. It's kind of all right, so I've gotten it. All right, so I clicked on add page and I got a white canvas. A canvas is where you do your designing. It's different from the app. The website is Canva, but where you do your actual design is called a canvas. All right, so right now I've come to elements and I want to pick out the elements in the image that I used to make that logo. So the first one I used was a spoon. I searched for the element spoon using the keyword spoon, and then I tapped on search for spoon. So this, like I told you before, make sure that when you're using elements you use graphics. All right, so now it has brought out different options for me to choose from. So what I want to do now is to choose a suitable type of spoon that I would like to use. So I'm comfortable with this and I've chosen this. All right, so I place it now on my canvas and I try to size it in the right way and to the right position that I would like or I love. All right, so I resize it. I resize the element, and then the next element that I want to look for is the fork. All right, so I'm just going to look for a fork. I'm going to type in fork. I'm going to type in fork. All right, so then click on search. I'm searching for a fork. Remember, like I said before, make sure that when you're using elements you use graphics. As you can see here. So I'm just going to look for a fork that suits my taste, the one that I would like to use. Remember that when you're designing something you should have an idea of what you want to achieve, so you can go online, research for other designs and use it as a base or a background for your own design. I'm going to teach you how to do this in my next course. All right, but for now you have to have a picture of what you want to design, have an idea of what you would like to achieve. So I've gotten my fork. The next thing now is to arrange it in a way that will suit into my design to give me a K. I'm trying to achieve the letter K using a spoon, a knife and a fork. All right, so I've brought my fork down, but as you can see it's not very well placed, so I'll have to crop it. I want to crop it so as to get the right edges that will be joined together. So you can see how I have cropped this picture, and the next thing now is to move it to align with the spoon, for it to be in alignment with the spoon. All right, so and I will resize it. Now the next element that I want to search for to complete my letter K in this logo design is a knife. So I'll come back to my elements and I'm going to search for knife, and then when I find the knife that I would like to use that is suitable enough for my design, I will go ahead to use it. All right, so I'm searching for knife. I've searched for the knife and I've clicked on it. Now I'm going to look for a knife that is sleek and slender, that is kind of the same size or the same type of, like, as small as the other elements that I've used. So I decided to go with this one. I have picked it and it should be the same color as the rest so as to create uniformity. All right, so I brought it down and I will have to crop it again so it can fit and align properly with the other elements in this design. I'm trying to achieve the letter K, so I'm going to crop my knife a bit, crop it to fit in so the spoon and the fork that is already on the canvas. All right, so I've gotten the right sizing that I want. Okay, so the next thing now is to group all of them so it will be easy for me to resize and move them. So I'm just going to see where I clicked on the three three dots, and I got the select multiple, and I selected everything together, and then I'm going to group it. So to be easy for me to make it smaller and to move it or make it bigger, to resize and to move. That is why I have grouped those three elements together. All right, so I am going to move it to the side. Okay, all right, so as you can see that I have done right now. So I've cut it, I have resized it, and I have grouped it so that I can move it together. All right, so this is the initial logo that I did, and this is what we are trying to achieve. But for this design, I'm going to make it a little bit different, because I want to achieve something a little different with the knife and the fork. All right, so it's not be exactly the same, but we're still getting the same letter K. All right, we're still getting the same letter K. Okay, so you can see how I have moved it. I'm just going to continue to move it until I get what I have in my imagination, or something close to it that I can be satisfied and okay with. You can see me moving it right now. All right, so I'm just going to continue to resize it and cut it and crop it until I get what I want. All right, all right, all right. Okay, you can see the alignment lines, right? So make sure you have everything perfectly aligned with the aid of your lines that will be showing. Whenever you click on something, there's a line that will show when it is in perfect alignment with the other things around it. All right, so I'm trying to achieve the letter K right now in a particular form. That is why I am trying to resize it to achieve the perfect size that I have in my imagination. Okay, all right, so I'm just going to continue doing that, and I think I'm done now. I think I'm done now. Okay, all right, yeah, I think I have it now. All right, okay, so you can see the spoon, the knife, and the fork forms a letter K. As you can see, the spoon, the knife, and the fork forms a letter K. Remember that the logo we're trying to create is for a kitchen, Alexa's kitchen. So that is why the idea of creating the K with a spoon, knife, and fork came to play. That is why I told you that when creating logos, try to use symbols or emblems that are similar to the profession or so the brand that you are trying to design for. So note that, do not ever forget that. Do not try to design for a hair brand and go use a symbol that is associated with music. That is very wrong. So your symbols and everything that you put together should be associated with that particular brand. Understand the brand, understand what the brand is for before you start creating the logo. All right, so I am just going to add my text. The text I'm adding now is itching, because I'm trying to create kitchen as a word, but I use my K in the form of a spoon, knife, and fork. So I'm just going to type out itching. Now, for this, using the example of fonts I gave you before, I'm going to be using the font Code Pro Bold. Code Pro Bold. So I'm just going to come in here and search for Code Pro Bold. All right, so I'm searching for Code Pro Bold, and when I finally get it, you will see what is going to happen right now. You will see what I'm going to do right now. So just stay tuned with me on this video and see how I transform this simple looking design onto a logo that can be used. All right, so this is in the Code Pro Bold. You can see that it is no longer as bold as it used to be, but not to worry, we can actually fix that. Just watch me as I go. We can fix that. Okay, so I've placed it and I've aligned it with my fork forming the K. Now next is to go to your formats and click on bold. You can see the way it changes and it becomes bold. You can see it the way it is. I first used the Code Pro Bold font, and then I clicked on formats and used the bold feature, and it became bold. So I'm just going to make sure that I get the alignment right. You can see the lines that are showing. This is what I'm going to use in getting my alignments right. Like I told you in my previous videos when explaining what the features are for, the nudge is your cursor on your phone. Your node is your phone's cursor to help you properly move your elements and text around. All right, so I've used my node to bring it down. I'm going to just increase the size a little bit to fit into the size of the K that we originally have. Remember, I have an idea of the logo I want to create in my head. Now I'm trying to create something similar to the logo I created initially. So I'm just showing you the step by step of how I was able to achieve this. All right, so I have put my K and I've put my itching together, making and forming a kitchen word. With my K formed with the use of elements of spoon, knife, and fork. So next, I want to put in the name. All right. So I believe when I was saying, I told you that we have the word mark, letter mark, and other things. Now this is like a word mark. This is like a word mark with a little bit of symbols in it. It's like a word mark with a little bit of symbols in it. All right, so I have my Alexa spelled out, but I'm going to change the font right now. I want something different from the way it looks right now. So I'm just going to use one of the fonts I initially gave to you in our video about fonts for logos. But first, I'm going to edit the size. Right, so I want to make it a bit bigger so the Alexa is legible enough. I want it that when people come and see this design, the first thing they want to remember is the name of the brands. All right, so I have my Alexa spelled out, and I'm going to use the font BD Script. I'm going to be using the font BD Script. So I'll come to fonts, and I'm just going to type in I'm going to use the font the break script. Okay, this is not the logo I use the BD Script for. All right, so I'm going to use the font the break script. The break script. So you can see the way it looks right now. But as you can see, it looks small. It looks small. The name is not legible enough. Remember that when you are designing, you want to look out for legibility, readability. All right, so people should be able to read that and they should be able to understand what they are reading. All right, so because I want the name of the brand to be bigger and more legible than the fact that it's a kitchen, I'm going to reduce the size of the itching and increase the size of the actual name, Alexa's. All right, so I'm going to increase the size of Alexa's. All right, I'm going to increase it to a 70. I'm going to take it to a 70. I'm going to reduce my kitchen. I'm going to reduce the letter elements and the word itching also. So just to make sure that the brand name is the most legible, is the first thing that you see when you click on the logo or whenever you see the logo. You know it's a kitchen because of the symbols that are there, but I want to be able to identify the brand name first, Alexa's. So next thing, I want to use a color that speaks action and speaks boldness. So I go for red. I already taught you the concept of colors and how to use colors, how to mix colors. And I believe in that color wheel. I also said that there are different there are primary colors, secondary colors, and tertiary colors, and how to combine different colors together. So I'm going to apply just a bit of that knowledge here. So firstly, I have increased the size of my Alexa's, and you can tell that when you look at this design, the first thing that you notice is the name Alexa's. The first thing that you notice is the name Alexa's. Aside the knife, fork, and spoon that's as symbols for a kitchen, but you know that the name of the kitchen is Alexa's. It's very obvious because I've made sure to increase the size of my Alexa's so it's very bold and legible. All right, so I'm just going to continue adjusting to make sure that my kitchen, the elements and the write-up is perfectly and well aligned. Okay, so I'm going to use my notch to move up and down until I get the desired size and fitting as I want. All right, so this was our initial design, but like I told you, the second design may be slightly different. So the next thing I want to do now is to change the color. using the concept of color that I taught you, you know that red can go with blue. So I want to change the color of my elements to a dark blue color. All right, I'm going for a blue color, so I'm going to go for a dark blue color. Now, the next thing I want to do is to individually change each of them till I get the blue all over. So I'm going to have to tap on each element and change the color to a blue color, right? So I've gotten that. And remember that your K has to be in alignment with the rest of the kitchen to make it a complete kitchen design. So I'm also going to change my right up to a dark blue color to make sure that they are all perfectly aligned. Now you can see that the blue is popping in a way, red and blue. All right, so these are also different ways that you can change the background color. Just play around with it until you get whatever you want. This was me just playing. I was just trying to play around and just see different styles that can come out of this, so you can see the logo in a brand new way from a different aspect and a different angle. So this is me just playing around with colors, but then you can see the way it goes. I came back and I was able to like settle for my white background. I like my background white the way it is. All right, so when starting up a design and you're not so sure about the colors to start with, please start from the basics, white and black. Then later you can then begin to adjust your colors till you get whatever that you feel you are comfortable with. So this is how I was able to achieve this design and adjusted it till I got what I wanted. All right, so I just brought the Alexa a little bit closer to the rest of the design till I was comfortable and satisfied with it the way it was. All right, so thank you very much.